I wanna party like Chris Farley.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Kevin the Beck, one half of a whole. Thank you for tuning in to The Proving Ground on RuffHouseTv. I'm your host and co-host, and I have to my left none other than my homeboy, my brother from another mother, DG, all the way out there on the West Coast. What's happening, partner?
What's good, man? You are hyped. It's got to be that guest today. It's got to be that guest today.
Absolutely, man. This guy needs absolutely no introduction. But before we get to that, man, let me go ahead and say this. If you guys have not subscribed to this channel, by all means, slam that subscribe button down there on the left. And right next to that subscribe button, go ahead and click on that bell. That'll give you full access to the channel. It'll let you know that you are fully subscribed here, and it'll give you information when we drop that hot-ass content like we have tonight. The guy that we have on here tonight, guys, needs absolutely no introduction.
Legend.
He is damn near a legend in the game. Been around for a long time and one of the hottest artists in the fitness, YouTube, fitness, bodybuilding industry. The guy's a legend in my book. I love him. None other than Jerry Beck. Happy birthday to you, brother. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show, partner.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. So, again, man, we appreciate you being here on this episode of The Proving Grounds, Jerry. You know I'm a big fan of yours. You've already done work for me. You've done work for some others in the past as well. I've seen you at expos, and I've seen your work. Very big fan of yours, man. So, again, I'm very honored that you chose to be here with us on this episode of The Proving Ground. So let's go ahead and just jump right off into this, man, because we have a bunch of questions for you. So I'm just going to start this off because I know that you're an illustrator and you're a drawer. Most illustrators try to convey a message to people or the masses. They either be political, whether it be religious in nature. Do you find yourself doing that, trying to portray or convey a particular message? And in doing so, do people like accept that? Do you have a hard time with people understanding you? What things do you have to deal with people trying to understand your message, or if you're actually trying to get something out there through your drawing? Just elaborate on that if you can, if that even makes sense to you.
The stereotype. It's the redneck accent. The guy's not going to know what he's talking about. Past 2 hours, no word of a lie, I've been just watching YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video. Yeah, you got me very hip on him. He's a very, very knowledgeable guy, so thank you for that one.
I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you checked him out. I'd love to meet that guy one day, man.
My question to you, and you already had brought it up, was basically how has what's going on with your daughter, how has that affected your life with the business? Because there's a lot of people out there that are probably obviously going through the same thing that you are, and they probably don't really have, anybody that's knowledgeable, that, that's really close to them, that can actually direct them, or other people that are going through their same struggle. Can you elaborate on that more about how that affected your life? Because I know your daughter means obviously a lot to you.
Yeah, it's, anyone who has kids, it should be pretty apparent that you love them and do whatever you can for them.
Absolutely.
And that kind of goes, you shouldn't even have to say that. But when you do have a special needs environment, and all of a sudden you're put into a situation that you're completely unfamiliar with, man. And as we grow older and wiser, we seem to think we know and are just good at adapting to stuff. It was a huge, huge challenge, man. And a lot of people, it's kind of debilitating news, man. And I don't know. I have to be careful about how I say this, because my daughter is pretty high functioning, man. So I can sit here and talk pretty optimistically, knowing full well that I'm very close with people who have kids who can't do anything. Like, they can't really talk. They're in diapers and they're 20 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, dude, it's just, it sucks, man. I don't know. I try to just, I don't want to boast too much, because, like I said, I don't want them to recognize. I don't want them to feel as if, well, my kid's never going to be able to do those things. So quit acting like there's this, endless opportunity for hope, you know.
Right.
But without hope, what do you got, man? So you got to sit there and make an effort and create environments and share that information and just hope that people can feed off of it versus sit here and telling everyone, oh, my life sucks, poor pitiful me. I mean, my daughter's mom and I, when it first happened, it just put a big strain on us, man. We didn't know what we're doing. You're nothing worse than sitting in a room, man, and watching your kid just completely like go crazy, like tantrum / scene out of The Exorcist type of crazy shit. And you're looking at the other one, hoping for an answer or some way to like help, stop. And you know, that helplessness is unbelievable, man.
Mm.
So, and then to see your kid snap out of it, and there's this like, you kind of like see the light in their eye come back, and it's almost as if you realize, like, for a minute there, that kid completely disconnected.
Yeah,
it's scary, bro. And then a whole nother thing that is worthy of a whole nother show is, you know, when I was a kid, man, I didn't even know what autism was, bro.
right.
Now 1 in like 50 has autism, you know, and you got to really start to critically analyze what the hell's going on in a world that creates this type of chaos. It's not just like Mother Nature got pissed off all of a day. Boom, all of a sudden she's mad. No, there's things going on. Damn near everything that we have access to has been contaminated in one way, shape, or form.
Right.
So whether you want to call out vaccines, and there's plenty of information for that, it's not the sole reason for anything.
Right.
But I mean, dude, you go out and they're listen to Bill.
Yeah.
Okay? With all the damn, the friggin' planes dumping all kinds of chemicals everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like I go out into my garden here on the side of the house, and I thought I had like some kind of Japanese beetles killing all the flowers. Dude, it's like acid rain. It's not beetle. There are no beetles out there.
Wow.
The leaves all got like holes in them. And it's like, you know.
Jerry, I'm kind of curious about something I've been wanting to ask you, because I see your philosophy a lot, your videos you put on Instagram, the Instagram stories, and I'm obsessed with them because you think outside the box like I do, and you believe in the power of positivity and energy and giving back and helping people without expecting anything in return. And that is my life in a nutshell, is like giving back without expecting anything. That is good karma. The signs you were talking about autism with your daughter and stuff like that, I'm kind of curious about, like, what's your stance on religion? Are you more religion, or are you more of a universal type of person?
I grew up Catholic. I think there's some fascinating information in the Bible, but I'm definitely more immersed in a spiritual type of belief system that is, is there a universal God or entity that guides all this amazing stuff around us? Absolutely. But I've studied enough to really, really question, no offense, but I kind of perceive the Bible as it's almost like a chain letter, man. If you recognize the history of it, who gets their hands on it and who twists it a little bit to control people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's
I feel
being
you.
honest. And trust me, I know that that's hard for some people to probably process, but you have to really start looking around at government and religion and how they oppress and control people, man. You know what I mean? I'm not delusional. I've been studying this stuff for a long, long time, and that's a huge, huge part of the book, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you on that. Totally. It's kind of like a giant, without offending anybody or their beliefs, because same as you, I was born Portuguese. I was born Roman Catholic, and go to church every Sunday, pray at the table, everything. And to this day, it's probably my most inner struggle that I've talked to Kevin about. At night, I still pray, and then during the day, it's just like, is there a supreme being, or is there more out there? Have we been visited? Is there other races? Like, I'm not ignorant to believe that we're the end all, be all.
No way,
it's beyond ignorant to feel like are you really that special that we're just one little ball in this whole cosmos?
You've been conditioned to think that. You've been conditioned to think that. Kevin, what do you think, man?
Honestly, man, I was raised on the church pew, right? So I've heard the entire book. I've read it front to back, and I am not knocking anybody's religion. I'm not knocking anybody's belief. But there are a lot of things that I have questions about. And I'm not saying that God is not real, because I believe that there is a particular entity or a power source outside of here. And there is no way that we can be the only existence in this universe. I cannot fathom that mentally. And there are a lot of things that actually disrupt the timeline of the Bible. Dinosaurs disrupt that.
There's a lot of
Did Adam and Eve had a belly button? Did they? Who knows? Who can say? Cain killed his brother Abel. He left and came back with a wife. Where in the hell did she come from? I have a lot of questions that actually have not gone answered, and that doesn't make me disbelieve that there is something else out there. It does make me believe more in my own personal energy and what I put out in the universe and what I take back. Sure. People send out messages on Facebook like pray for me, and I have no problem with that. But I would rather directly connect with you through a messenger instead of saying, yeah, I'm going to send prayers your way, because that is just like, you're not going to pray for them. And even if you do pray for them and something happens, just like I wanted to pray for Rich. This is honest to God truth. I wanted to, but then and David, I said this to you. What if I pray for the man and he dies? Does that mean that I'm just, God looks at me as irrelevant? My prayers don't matter. They don't mean nothing. They didn't do anything. And the man dies. Like, I'd rather send positive energy your way and positive thoughts and hope and keep a faith of positive energy that something will, turn out good for you.
Yeah. We'll see what you just said there. For instance, you can apply that to most people that grew up under that type of, I don't know if indoctrination's fair, but
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
If you carry around any sort of guilt because you're afraid to admit your true thoughts, that sits in your subconscious for how long? And that's just that we don't need that type of stress or strife in our life, right? And a lot of people suffer from that, man, because they're just afraid to just kind of like trust their own. There's that voice inside of all of us, man. I don't care what anyone says. There's that voice inside you, man, that guides you if you listen to it. And regardless of what we think, that's such a profound topic. Who are we to even think we should know the answer? We can have a discussion about it and we can agree to disagree. But man, that is a monstrous, thing to just assume Right. But at the end of the day, regardless of what you think, as long as we can respectfully communicate, and as long as whatever it is I'm doing or whatever it is you're doing isn't harming somebody else,
right,
dude, we're on the right track right there. I mean, there's three guys right now talking right now. We might have, varying thoughts on a lot of stuff, but you can sense the energy here, man. There's three guys that are, there's good energy here. I mean, if you magnify this times 3 million,
right,
all of a sudden there's a paradigm shift, man. It's not like this crazy, I've studied the Black Panthers. I've studied all these amazing groups, and the foundation for a lot of their stuff wasn't necessarily violence, but it ultimately kind of pointed in that direction.
Right.
And that's not how it gets done, man. It's when people collectively on a huge scale think differently.
Right.
You have a lot less tolerance for the shit we tolerate. Kev, I'm 48 today, man. I've been through all these different presidential elections. Dude, it's the same shit.
Same shit.
If you think the two-party system is designed to serve you, stop thinking that way. That's not what it does.
Right.
The two-party system is a fraud. The whole it's a control device, and they got us bickering. I mean, we're gonna fight over the color of each other's skin, really? We're just gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep taking the bait on that narrative.
Yeah,
that's some bullshit, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been in the game for, and I know you used to compete. Is that correct? You used to
once.
Okay, so you've been in the game for a long, long time. And now that we're on this topic of, racism, which is, regardless if anybody wants to admit this or not, there's systematic racism in this country that will continue until the end of time. it just, for whatever reason, it just will not go away. You know, how have you noticed that there's a particular issue such as this in the bodybuilding community? Because it does ravage our cities. It's a cancer, man. It destroys a lot of shit between a lot of people. Have you noticed that in the community, in the whole industry of fitness as a whole?
I'm not going to label the industry as racist, but I've definitely seen elements of that. But that's just life, man. That's just everything we deal with. I mean, it would be very hard to even make that claim when, some of the greatest bodybuilders are all black.
Yeah.
A lot of them, really. I mean, in fact, as a fan of the sport, just looking back at some of the other bodybuilders, first of all, a lot of these dudes won that shouldn't have won, in my opinion. That's a whole nother story. And as you come through the ranks, you just see the quality of physique. And some of my favorite all-time bodybuilders are black guys. And guys, you ever heard of Renell Janvier? Renell took second to Sean Ray in 1991 at the Arnold. One of my all-time favorite bodybuilders. I don't know if anyone even knows the guy.
I've never heard the name before.
Wicked.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how old my ass is. I'm in the 1991 Arnold as a fan at the time. And do you remember Anya Schreiner?
I've heard that name, yeah.
I think Anya Schreiner won a real close one, and it was I think Tanya Knight. These are way back.
Wow.
But so it's I'm sure that's part of the process, because it permeates every element of our society, bro. It's part of, like, sounds crazy, but to me it's like it's almost ingrained in the DNA of the society that we've grown up in. From the minute I can wake up, grew up predominantly Italian side of my family, and I just saw it from my youngest recollections, just this weird dislike between Italians and blacks. And the irony, in my opinion, thinking back when I was a kid, was they had so many similar interests. And I hate saying they as if I'm not a part of this and they're a whole different thing, but it's just like I kind of did feel separate, because I just never understood at a very young age. I never really understood how society operates and how people can't just it takes a concentrated effort collectively to make things work.
Right.
It has nothing to do with your skin color. And that's something that just I've never understood. I mean, dude, back in I was 16 years old, and it was this is my most famous piece of art I'll never see, because the FBI confiscated the damn thing and considered me a threat to national security. So back in 85 it was, Reagan bombed Libya. I drew some artwork on a shirt and went to school protesting it. FBI comes in, interrogates me, says that I was a threat to the president, just because I was an opinionated kid that was questioning, you know what I mean? That kind of like activist mentality's been there with me for a long time, man. I just see things and I don't accept the narrative that they're presenting me. It's like, if you go to school and then they hand the baton off to media, think about the bullshit you learn, man.
Right.
I mean, this is all in place to teach you how to behave in the system you were born into. They don't want independent thinkers. Independent creative minds are the ones that have the potential to shatter this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so as I get older, I get more aggressive with it, man. I'm not going to just shut the hell up. I got shit to say. So that's why with the comic books, it's like time for me to put all that shit into a book and hope that it somehow helps people think. And even with like bodybuilding right now, I'm struggling right now. I'm going to be honest. Like, I struggle to go to the shows with the same enthusiasm I had, because, dude, when I got into lifting weights as a kid, all the way up till, honestly, like, prior to getting involved in the industry, I really, really loved bodybuilding and working out. I go to the gym now. It's almost like a meditation chamber or something for me. Something it allows you to create small goals, create discipline, and that's very useful for you in all the other facets of your life. Then I get into the industry, and it even turns me into an asshole for a while, dude. I got to be honest with you. I get caught up in this shit, and I think I'm like some hot shot, hanging out with fitness chicks and doing all this dumb shit that is not even close to who I am at the heart of my existence. And I kind of had to fall on my face a little bit, honestly, to get back to like, dude, this is not what it's about, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so some of the things I see, I put out the video. When I woke up the morning that Dallas passed, dude, I was like, didn't know how he passed, was not suggesting anything about how he would have passed, but I automatically thought, okay, CT had another heart attack recently.
Yep.
I believe he's had more than one. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's not a diss on him. I don't know. I mean, but it makes you wonder the excessive nature of the sport. And that doesn't even mean drugs only, dude. If you study like meat and dairy industry, if you study the shit we put in our body, bro, in large amounts, you would be foolish to ignore. Like, this can't be good for you.
Right.
So the excessive nature of what it takes to be a bodybuilder genuinely concerns me. I'm not trying to tell all these people, you're an asshole, man. Fuck you. You know, you got what you deserve. Not even close. I'm trying to say, wake up, folks.
Right.
When I used to train, it was all about going to the gym. Yeah, you want to look good, but damn it, you want to feel good, man.
Yeah.
So what exactly are we doing right now that all this shit is like, it's like, I've been there, dude. I've been to the after parties. I've acted like an ass. I've done all the dumb shit, and I know a lot of people. I'm not interested in calling out any names, and that's not my motivation. But get back to some sort of balance, man.
Right.
And that, I mean, it's, dude, if you go out in the public and you just show people like the current bodybuilders, they're all going to be like, they're all just going to be like, look at these big jacked up steroid guys.
Right.
Yep.
And then we wonder why we don't get like any sort of like respect on a grander scale, because it's kind of like, it's the freak show. I mean, it's not really, you know what I mean? It's lost in translation. I'll tell you this, man, the new men's classic physique, dude, some of these guys, unbelievable.
Right.
Guys look fantastic. So as a fan of the sport, I'm not going to shut up, one. And two, all I'm going to do is put information out there that I think can help us become a better community. And if that offends you, I'm automatically going to wonder, well, how invested are you in this business?
Right.
That you might have something to lose, man. Because if you genuinely gave a shit about the athletes, you would know where I'm coming from.
Right.
But if you're a businessman and everything's capitalizing off of these people, now all of a sudden you might have a whole damn different perspective. And you guys know what money does to people. Fucks you up, bro.
Yeah.
So
it'll change you up.
I'll sit in a panel with anybody on any given day, and we can discuss this shit. Because I mean, they have to see through my frustration and realize, like, there's a better way to do this, man. You know, that's just my opinion.
Jerry, I know you watched a video with Greg, and you liked Greg. Greg is a very honest person.
Never met him.
But he's very, very honest and blunt, and that's why I love the hell out of Greg. But he was talking about the industry now, about going in a union way, getting tested. And my feeling about that is, even Kevin was saying about the supplement companies should be held responsible for these people. But when you only have one federation that's paying these guys chump change on top of that, considering how much money they're investing to even be on that stage, like Greg said, this is the only sport where you, the athlete, has to pay to play. So what would you suggest to start a difference?
Dude, think about what we're talking about. And I hesitate to call this a sport, honestly, man.
Okay.
So it's definitely a lifestyle. Shit, we all know that. And it's definitely, but if you're getting up there, and on any given day, a group of judges can call it however they want to see it. And a lot of these judges, if I'm not mistaken, aren't necessarily like well-seasoned former competitors.
Correct.
So more than anything, dude, I gotta just question the integrity of some of the things around this industry that are kind of like building it, like what you just said. you got these supplement companies, and you got, for every one athlete that they prop up is successful and doing great and all that, I mean, dude, there's countless of people that are going nowhere fast. This is, first, everything I talk about is something I've experienced, man. Like, I've gone in the vitamin shop or wherever, and I've bought all the bullshit products. You know what I mean? And a lot of it's placebo. If a product makes you feel a certain way real quick, you're tingly or whatever, all of a sudden you're convinced it's the next greatest thing you've ever used. A lot of the products don't even have any long-term testing on them, bro.
Right.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, as a person who's done it, listen, we can talk all day. I can tell you about my one and only experience competing and the health issues I have now as a result of it. I took DNP during the show. I've had respiratory problems since then. That's why I think I'm having it now. I had a pneumonia a few months ago. There's x-rays that show all kinds of fucked up polyps in my lungs. And it was during the last few weeks while I was on the DNP, my breathing was incredibly labored. And after that, I went to a specialist and they were like, fuck, man, there's some weird shit going on in your lungs. You need to go to see like a lung specialist. And I just never did out of fear, quite honestly. This is back in 2002. Yeah, I've done it all, man. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk about shit that I really genuinely don't feel I've experienced. You know what I mean? So that's why my concerns are where they am. I'm 48. What if in a few years this lung shit kills me, man?
Wow.
Because I did some stupid fucking 2002 bodybuilding show in Cleveland. You know, what the fuck, man? So
my question to you is this, Jerry. Where do you see this community going? This lifestyle, and a lot of people do agree with you, such as myself, that this is not a sport because it's very subjective. Where do you see it going?
To me, bodybuilding,
especially after what has just recently happened. You got two, I can't say the greatest, but you have two very big icons. Plus, you have CT Fletcher, and I'm not trying to push negative vibes out there, but it's not looking so great for him. Where do you see all of this stuff going, man, in the next few years?
I've always enjoyed the carnival freak show type of atmosphere that bodybuilding created as a kid, especially as an artist. When I was a kid, saw Conan, lost my mind. Wanted to draw barbarians and look like these guys. Had my first weight set when I was 13. Enjoyed the process. Wasn't until I was in my early 20s when I started to realize what the hell was really going on. And then but it's like I never, ever, even when I competed and did well, and I've had all these pretty great experiences in the industry through the artwork, I never considered it a sport. I just don't. I consider it it's a lifestyle. It's I'm not going to call it a beauty contest, but it's in that vein. It's the same process, you're getting in a certain kind of shape. You're up there posing and you're hoping that the judges are in favor of your look on any given day. That's not a sport to me. Yeah. That's not even disrespectful though. And I guarantee you most people are going to think that's disrespectful. It's just my opinion on what this is.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately that's going to piss people off. You know how that is, but whatever. I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to sit here and candy coat you just
No, there is no candy coating on this show.
No, there's no time for it, man. And it's like, like I said, I never met Rich Piana. I did meet Dallas a couple of times and thought he was a really nice guy. But I don't have enough information to sit here and speculate on any of that shit because there's been enough of this blah, blah, blah. But I have every right to be pissed off at, like you just automatically process those situations and go, okay, we got to evaluate what the hell's going on here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna jump on the big question here, and it's not really the elephant in the room, but for those of you that are watching this channel, you see our intro that pops up. Just to let you know, this man created that. He drew that up for us, and hands down, I will always be a fanboy, so to speak, and a cheerleader, because I think you have some of the some of the greatest artwork that I've seen. But a lot of people don't know that you're colorblind. and I was shocked to know that myself when you first told me that. What inspires you to get that? Where do you get your inspiration from for those particular drawings? Because they're not all the same and they all look different and they're all like super awesome when you put them up. Where does all that come from?
First of all, thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words. I'm just lucky anyone cares, bro, because I'm a huge fan of other artists. There's 1,000,001 out there. The fact that for 20 years people pay any sort of attention to my stuff is fantastic, because I haven't had a boss in 20 years,
Wow.
But as a kid, my mom and my aunt were horror movie junkies. Back in the day, most of those horror films were black and white.
Right.
And I am colorblind. So for the longest time, I never even took art seriously. As a young kid, I was just ignorant and thought, well, any professional artist can color his shit. I'm not going to get anywhere with that. Started managing a gym. And it was my first ex-wife, actually, who told me, like, her and the owner of the gym, I was a 24-hour gym, so I'd be up all night drawing. And they come in and see all these damn drawings, and they were like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're going to just sit here and work at a gym? Go to fucking art school or something. So she convinced me to give it a shot, man. I thought, well, if I'm going to do art, what could I do? Comic books have like an assembly line process where they pencil something and ink it, so you don't necessarily have to color it, right?
Right.
So that's what I rolled the dice, got accepted, learned at a pretty damn accelerated rate. And I just honestly, man, I knew the day I got accepted. I mean, it was as certain as the love you have for your kids, man.
Right.
I just knew, like, this is what I'm doing forever, man. I don't know where the hell this is taking me. I just know it won't be lack of effort. If it's not for lack of effort, I can live with it. And I know it will not be for lack of effort. So let's just see where the hell this goes.
Right.
So here we go. I mean.
So speaking of other artists you mentioned, there's a gentleman named, I guess, was it Lyman Daly?
Isn't that something, dude? I go to the Kubert School, which is the art school, right?
Right.
I look at the curriculum and the teachers that I have, and sure as shit, Lyman Daly from Muscular Development. I grew up watching all those cartoons.
Yeah.
He was my anatomy teacher, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we became buddies, man. And Lyman actually had a thing. He was really smart. He had this part in his class where he'd take you down into the gym and he'd make you work out so you could understand the functionality of muscles. That dude is awesome, man. I still talk to him every now and then on Facebook.
Really?
Big, yeah. I mean, any of those guys that I still try to chase them down on Facebook once in a while, and I probably make them feel uncomfortable because I'll shout them out being like, you crazy bastards took this amount of time out of your life to teach this fool how to get his shit together, and I'll never forget it. And yeah, those guys are cool, man. I call them Coach too. I think they think that's funny. Coach Daly. So.
See, that's another thing I like about you, Jerry, and I do notice that you do that, is you constantly give props to people. Like, I'm grateful for you for being in my life. Thank you. And you don't really see a lot of people that do that. I tend to do that. I try to do that like once a week, just if it's in my heart and I'm like, hey, man, like Nate Smith. I didn't even realize you knew Nate,
yeah,
honest to God.
Yeah,
until I was sitting there talking to him at the shop, and I'm like, yo, Nate, look, this guy right here, Jerry Beck, he's doing our RuffHouseTV.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, I know Jerry for years. I talk to him all the time on the phone. I'm like, holy shit. Then I found out you did Demonic Athletics from Heather.
Yeah.
You have your hand in so much stuff, and it blows me away. Just today on my Instagram, I seen that you're friends with Matt Morgan. I had no idea. I love Matt. Matt's a great guy.
Matt, you know what? I look forward to seeing Matt again, because when I met him down in Orlando I think it was the year before last at the Orlando Europa, you know how expos are. It's just kind of giggles and you kind of talk, and that's the end of it. And I thought he was a real nice guy. I don't even know, and I do apologize, Matt, if I'm incorrect here, but I don't know if his son was either not brought up in the equation, or maybe we just never got to that point where we discussed autism in our families. Mm-hmm. Matt's, so I really look forward to actually getting a chance to see Matt outside of an expo type environment and actually getting to talk to him about, the stuff that.
Yeah, I think you guys would
Yeah.
You guys would definitely connect very well. Matt's an excellent father. Yeah, I see it all the time. You too. I can see how you love your daughter and everything like that. You guys would really bond very much about that.
Yeah.
Changing the subject a little, because I'm going to go into comic book nerdom right now. Okay. Do you still read comics? If you do, who like inspired you drawing, and who was your favorite superhero? Just curiosity.
All right, so here's the new. I don't read a lot of comics, but I bought this for the simple fact that this guy's art is ridiculous. His name is Mike Diodato.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book called Champions, really cool. But I've never honestly been. I've always been a big fan of the art, and I've never really, like, you and I could sit down and talk comics. You'll talk circles around me, man. I just don't know a whole lot about them. I remember when I was a kid, you'd go to the convenience store and there'd be like 3 comic books in a poly bag thing for like $2. And I would just hope and pray that the one in the middle had decent art, because I knew that the ones that you could see either did or didn't. Yeah, and I just always got a kick out of the artwork. But influences of mine, without question, Bernie Wrightson, who just passed this past year, was my absolute favorite illustrator. He's an old school guy from, do you remember like Creepy and Eerie magazine?
Oh, yeah.
Bernie was like, he was a beast, man. He did all the crazy black and white stuff. Frank Rosetta, who inspired Bernie, it's kind of like the Godfather, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, you'll often find that, like, if you like Bernie, then you like Frank, and if you like, like, there's just this little interesting thing that unfolds with those particular artists. But yeah, nothing too current. Todd McFarlane, at the time that I went to art school, had just started Spawn.
Yep.
So I was a huge McFarlane fan from the Spider-Man work.
Everybody became a McFarlane fan.
You remember a book called Pit?
No.
Dale Keown did a book called Pit. And to this day, Dale Keown, in my opinion, might be the best illustrator in the game. He just kind of marches to his own drum. He does things when he wants to. He's not really interested in, like, sitting in a bullpen and working on these deadlines.
Yeah.
So Dale's stuff kind of comes and goes as he chooses, but it's really fantastic stuff.
Now, this question for you is going to be cheesy, because now I know you don't really read the comics, but I have to ask, because I do it on my Camerica Muscle channel all the time. All right. You have 2 superheroes, okay? Captain America and Batman. You drop them in the middle of New York City with no time to prepare. Who wins in a fight, Cap or Batman?
I'm going with Batman just because I dig the Dark Knight, man. Is that the wrong answer according to you? I don't know.
My brother, I got Cap right here tatted on me.
Okay.
He's got the cap on the middle finger. Jerry, let me ask you, man, what's in the future for Jerry Beck, man? A lot of you guys that are tuning into this, that haven't watched this, I'm gonna put the name of his Facebook link down here where you can check out some of his drawings, some of his website information, because I'll tell you right now, man, and I will continue to say this. I've done this before. This man is a phenomenal artist, very kind, very knowledgeable. What's in the future for Jerry Beck? What do you see?
I see challenges is what I see, because the things I really want to do, I don't know how much they're going to resonate with bodybuilding, and a large part of my audience at the moment is come to know me from bodybuilding and fitness related work. But a lot of the stuff I want to do is, like unity based shit, man, like damn near civil right, like just this mass movement. Like, how do I create art that will capture our attention still in the fitness and bodybuilding world, but share a thought that's greater than, like,
all of it.
Yeah. Like, I'm a big badass. No, like, it's got to be more than that, man. I look at the big picture, and I look at the things that this world really suffers from, and I'm like, I just feel like it's my duty as someone who can create things and share things with people. Like, I need to at least make that effort. If I just sit here and draw bodybuilding shirts till the day I die, I'm not gonna be happy, dude.
Right.
Yeah. And with my daughter and stuff in the book, the How to Draw Monsters is the name of my new comic book, right? The character in the book is inspired by my kid and some stuff I saw when
I was actually going to ask you if she was the main inspiration behind what you do, specifically with that comic book.
I mean, a huge part of it. You know what I mean? It's like, how can she not be? I
Right.
mean,
Absolutely.
you know, it's like impossible to not have a waking thought that damn near has her involved in it. So it's like, you know, I changed some, but I mean, it's got a, other than the fact that the character grew up in foster homes, in and out of abusive environments, and had autism, he becomes something so much greater than
Right.
readers are going to even connect with right now. And that greater presence, you know, has a profound message to say to us, because, I mean, dude, let's just face it. I mean, dude, we get up, think about what our media, the propaganda that beats us over the head every day and convinces us is important. I mean, there's nations, man, that have been colonized and destroyed and pretty much forgotten in the West, because we don't ever hear about it.
Right.
But I can show you countless pictures, man. Dave, did you see the video that Bill put up with the poor little kid being stun gunned?
No, that one I haven't
I
yet.
hope you didn't see it, dude, because it's so damn depressing. And I'm like, that's what's happening right now in the world, man. Like, that is just one of a zillion examples. And then all I'm going to do is get up every day here and be like, oh, fuck, did I? You know what I mean? I don't know, dude. I don't want to sound like I'm dogging everyone.
I'm going to tell you something, Jerry, and I'm great at reading people's energies. Well, I feel like I am anyway. I can tell a positive person or something, but you're destined for something in your life, and I can see that. You have a great way of talking, whether it be through your art or the way you perceive things outside of the box. You are going to leave an impression on somebody's soul. And in the short time I've known you, from what I watch, you've already left an impression on mine. So thank you.
I appreciate it. You see so much dark shit, bro. And it's like, give me a minute. It's just, we got to change the way we perceive things, man. You know, I did this once before. I did an interview years ago with Derek Anthony, who passed away. And I just got caught up in it, man, because I'm like, how do you not see the inconsistencies? How do you see the dramatic extremes in this world and ignore them? You know, I can't do it, man. It's just like, I cannot do it. I absolutely have to put energy into trying to snap people out of, like, so much shit that happens over here that we think is important is not even close to important.
I agree.
It's the stuff that keeps us imprisoned in this bullshit that we go through. You know, if I leave this house and I run into someone out there and I have an issue with someone, it's because that person's got some shitty energy or I don't like them. It has nothing to do with their damn skin, man. And I'm so fucking sick of that. That is at the top of my list of shit I'm tired of. You know, we all need to come together. You know, I see my daughter go through the shit she goes through. You know, a few weeks after her vaccine, she went from a normal kid, dude, to fucked up. You know, so this system cheated my fucking kid out of a normal life. I know that. It's not poor, pitiful Jerry. But Jerry's not going to sit around and fucking keep his mouth shut. And if Jerry fucking has an emotion that's happy, sad, mad, whatever, Jerry's not afraid to fucking express it, man. Right. All right? So thanks for even having me on, guys, because I knew when I came into this, I just want to be honest. I want to put energy out there that I don't think people are going to.
Me and Kevin, we're both honored to have you on. Like, I was screwing around on Instagram and I posted, you're like a majestic unicorn, you're tough to get, and then you put back, no, I'm more like Bigfoot, I'm not as well groomed as that unicorn.
I was gonna roll up a piece of paper and put a damn rubber band on it, but I couldn't find it.
No, hey, from the bottom of our heart, anytime you want to come on this show, dude, you let us know, and you have an open platform, because I like people that speak the truth. Kevin likes people that speak the truth. It needs to be put out there. We don't want to be a one-trick pony where it's just bodybuilding and fitness, man. You have a message that needs to be heard. If we can be a platform for you to be heard, bro, call Kevin. Kevin, give him my number. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I'm passionate about the entire process, man. And what I mean by that is like just pushing for that change that we need. Even if it never comes, man, I'm not going to be the one that gave up on it. You know what I mean? I see what's transpired in generations before me, where there were movements that got infiltrated, honestly. If you really study some of that crazy shit, the CIA gets involved and they fucking destroy what were really profound movements that could have shifted the way we function as a society. And I know this is probably going to be like a bodybuilding show for most people, but dude, I got a lot more to say than that, man. You know what I mean? So,
and
I apologize if this came off as something other than what you might have thought, but
no, not at all.
Absolutely not. And that's one of the reasons why we created this channel, because there's a lot more to life than benching 315 or squatting 500 pounds. There's a lot more to life than winning a $5 trophy and injecting yourself with stuff that eventually is going to end up killing you if you take it too far. There's a lot more to life than being in a magazine or posting ass shots on Instagram and getting a million followers. So
think about there's a divisiveness to that too, right? Like when people get a certain sense of fame, there's a tendency to look down on other people, man. When in actuality, you should be unbelievably appreciative that anyone even cares, bro.
Right.
Thank you.
And you see it all the time. Like, dude, you can go to a bodybuilding show, boom, they put the lights on and everyone wants to act a certain way. You know what I mean? It's like, it's easy to act a certain way when the limelight's on.
Right.
When you're just chilling and everything's mellow and everyone's just, there's no fortune or fame to be gained. What kind of character do you really have, dude?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like you said earlier, Dave, it's like there's this word that I'm huge on. It's called Ubuntu. And it means if it's not good enough for all of us, it's not good.
Okay.
Not Ubuntu.
And there's a guy named Michael Tellinger who runs the Ubuntu movement out of South Africa who I was blown away. He contacted me a few months ago, wants me to do artwork for the movement, that's me, man, 100%. But what I want to get at is we've got to shift. We've got to start recognizing that, it's going to take a collective effort, man. Nothing is going to get done if there's this hierarchy looking down on other people. You know what I mean? Like, that's divisive as hell. That's not how shit gets done, man.
Right.
That's social media. That's media. That's media in general. Kevin and I discuss this all the time.
It's an insanely uphill battle, right? Because we're conditioned to think, I got all this shit, man, and that makes me better than you, and I'll be nice to you because I'm kind of looking down upon you. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean? It's like, just go out of your way to,
help.
Yeah, I mean, and not everything you do has to be advertised. Just, if you're out there doing stuff for people, go down to the homeless shelter. Give those people some soap and a toothbrush or something, or some, you know what I mean? Like, and don't question why they're homeless. Fucking who gives a shit right now? Help the guy out. You know what I mean? There's more houses in this country than there are homeless people. Times like 5 or 6, man.
Right.
And I was doing all these studies from one of my books, and you got all these veterans. They go out there, risk their lives. They come home and get shit on, man. Whether it's PTSD or they don't fit in because of some of the shit they've had. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sad, dude. It's like, I've always been connected to that stuff. And trust me, I'm no saint. I've done dumb shit over the course of my life, but I've learned from it. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of, like, make the mistake and learn from it,
And owning it.
Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling at this point.
No, you're not rambling, Jerry.
No,
I'll tell you what, man. A lot of stuff that you're hitting on, I was raised to believe, at some point in time, the world is going to come to an end and all of this stuff. And, when you got me turned on to Bill Bunting, I actually watched some of his stuff. And here, guys, those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, I'm going to put his name across the screen right here. Jerry just actually opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. His name is Bill Bunting. He is on YouTube. The guy is I don't know if you ever saw that. It wasn't a sci-fi movie, but it's kind of like the end of the world type deal. This volcano erupted, and the guy who was the guy that played in White Man Can't Jump. Do you remember him? I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was this crazed guy that lived out in the national forest, and he was on top of the mountain, and he was, prophesying that this was actually going to be the devil thing. And the government actually created, this atmosphere that actually ended up destroying half the world. I forgot. I think it was the day after or something. I can't remember the name of the movie, but so this Bill Bunting is kind of like, he reminds me of him. How did you get turned on to him, man? Because he says a lot of really deep, mind-provoking, thoughtful things that you like, wow, I cannot believe that people actually believe that and that this is actually real. Like, it makes a lot of sense. How did you get turned on to him?
Dude, when you get on YouTube and you start studying a bunch of interesting things, and then there's the sidebar that links you to potentially similar things. If I'm not mistaken, I just saw it was probably even labeled something ridiculous, like, redneck makes more sense than anyone else. It was literally one of those type of deals. And then when I listened to it, this is a couple years back, I was just like, man, this guy is right on point, man. And he's just, you can sense it, right? You can just sense it. Yeah. And I think I've seen every video he's ever made. I think recently he stepped away for a minute because I just caught wind of the most recent stuff that I was speaking about on Instagram within the last couple of weeks. So, but yeah, great stuff, dude.
Yeah, he's amazing. When I watched him, I really did watch like a couple of hours of him straight today, and I can easily see just getting stuck into this hole, and then before you know it, there's 8 hours of my day where I'm not as productive, but spiritually and mentally, I'm productive as hell.
Yeah, I'm lucky to sit here and draw, right? So while I'm drawing, it's just on. But there's another podcast that I really like called TheHighersideChats with Greg Carlwood, and man, talk about a diverse group of guys that he has on that show, and that'll make you think, man. So if you really want to, give something else a shot, check out the Higher Side Chats. It's good.
The Higher Side Chat.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man, make sure you drop that link down too, Kevin. I'm really curious on that one.
Yeah.
I absolutely will do that, man. Jerry, I can tell you this, brother. After this, this is the most emotional, thought-provoking episode that we've had. I have gained a new level of love and respect for you as a person, as an individual. I actually feel the passion that you have for what you're doing, and I can't say thank you enough for coming on here and giving me and David this opportunity to even have you on here, just to spare that much time. It's almost been an hour that you.
Just a guy, man.
Dude, that and to be as humble as you are this is something that I try to say this to everybody, man. Be humble. Be humble. I was like saying this before Kendrick Lamar came out with his "Be Humble." I'm saying this: be humble, man. So
he doesn't owe you royalties.
He might. So anyway, man, before we wrap this up, Jerry, give us one final thought, man. Just something to leave the solid with the people. Just leave them with something that they can stick in their back pocket and they
Dude,
can.
I'm gonna keep it simple. I told you, Ubuntu. Not good enough for all of us. It's not good, man. And that's just how we got to start perceiving the things we do. You put those steps into place, you won't have this real lopsided small percentage of people. I mean, it's just an advanced form of slavery, man. I know I sound fanatical, but think about it. How many people do you know are getting up every day, really doing what they truly want to do? They're just not.
Right.
And who's to say that you shouldn't be allowed that? We're born into a system that controls us and suffocates us, and it's just sad, man. You know. Well, on that note, just keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
If it's not good enough for all of us, it's not good.
Well, like I said, Jerry, thank you so much, guys. Again, I will have, and we haven't done it, and I apologize to everybody. And we've put links in the description box before, but just getting caught up with things, we haven't done it. But I will make damn sure this time that Jerry Beck's links will be in the description box and his information on the screen here. Again, Jerry, thank you so much for spending this time with us, man. We absolutely 100% appreciate that. And if RuffHouseTv, the Proving Ground, could have a Hall of Fame honorary member, I'm telling you right now, you are its first inductee, my friend. You are its first inductee. You're
too kind, bro.
Hey,
Dave, real cool to finally meet you, man.
Man, dude, the pleasure is all mine. Nate talks good about you to me all the time, and I've been stoked about this interview right here for a week.
Hopefully
I didn't even know how to come across.
The Arnold 2018. Hopefully we can all get together there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be there for that, man. So having said that, we appreciate you guys checking into this video. Again, if you have not subscribed, by all means, slam that subscribe button and then click on that bell that's right next to it. That'll give you full access to the channel. You'll be fully subscribed, and you can get notifications when we drop hot content like we just did today. And having said that, I'm your boy, Kevin the Vet. This is my man, DG. Dave Goyce, this is RuffHouseTv. That was Jerry Beck, and he rocked it out with us, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
See you guys.
Bitch, I wanna party like Chris Farley.